Dear guests, welcome to the new episode of the Watcher Poll here from Brussels ahead of the European elections. Today, my guest is connecting directly from the capital of Portugal, beautiful Lisbon. We are gonna discuss with former member of the National Assembly of Portugal, Mr. Duarte Marques. Duarte, welcome to our program.
Even in a remote.
Thank you for having time to discuss with us. Duarte is very experienced and know Brussels very well. At the same time, you served several mandates in Portuguese Parliament. So I would like to ask you, based on your experiences, which key challenges would you mark from the previous mandate of the European Parliament, and what do you think is going to be key elements of the next one? What will shape the European politics?
I think it's no doubt the question of the defense policy, the security issues. This war in Ukraine, it's a very big challenge for Europe, and especially to put the member states together, aligned with the same policy at the security and defense level. But I think the migrants pact will be a big challenge as well for everybody. And you see all these campaignings during the last months, the last weeks, all around Europe. It's one of the key topics that can divide a lot the member states' positions. But the economy is always the economy, and industrial policy is also very important with this new challenge of the new technology, the new opportunities as well, and the balance between the environmental compromises and the industrial resilience is quite important. So I think everybody is going to be quite focused in these issues, and but especially with the queries and the strength of the European project, because with so many threats to the cohesion, with so many threats from the left and the right extreme wings. I think the moderated and the ones who believe on the European project need to be together in resistance to all of this.
You in Portugal recently had elections. There is a new center-right government in power. But which topics do you see as the key debated ones during this campaign for the European elections? If I'm not mistaken, EPP candidate, Spitzencandidate Ursula von der Leyen was yesterday also in Porto. There were images with Prime Minister Montenegro. What do people in Portugal care most about in this campaign, and what do politicians communicate?
Yeah, first of all, the main topic in Portugal nowadays, it's the opportunity and the responsibility to use well the EU investment. That means we should discuss which are the priorities and use well the money that we are receiving from our friends all around Europe. So this means the main topic who concern the Portuguese people is that the public investment is well used on the issues we really need. So we are not just spending money for spending, but investing really, really well. And the second topic is migrations, because we just changed our migrations policy. We come back. We are now aligned already with all the other with all the other countries with the same legislation, and so the discussions in Portugal in the last days were quite contaminated by this topic. But yesterday, with the visit of the president of the commission and its Spitzen's candidates, the topic was also freedom, because some guys tried to boycott one of the speeches, and she reacted really well, saying, if you were in Moscow, you would have been arrested. And here you can speak freely. That's one of the European values. We can disagree, but we can speak freely, and especially if you are respecting the others, but you can have a different opinion and you'll not be arrested. And this is a defining point for the values. And nowadays we should talk about values again, because sometimes those values are being threatened by some extremists, and we have to remember that, because sometimes we have these values so well acquired that we have some also to remember all those things to the ones who are inside of the project, of the European project, but we are too so used to them that we don't give them the right value they deserve, like citizens, like European citizens.
Yeah, this is what many also agree here in Brussels and in other capitals which we visited and had the interviews with. But when you mentioned the investment earlier, my question goes how the EU can attract investment better. You were saying that the topic in your campaign is how to use the money available to invest good in Portugal. But EU itself has been challenged recently also because of the global environment, and investment policies are one of the hot topics, as well as how to secure European supply chain.
Yeah, I remember a few months ago with the conference the former President Barroso. He said during the COVID crisis, you were looking for some medicine. It was European medicine, but everything was produced outside Europe. So that's why you need to have a more resilient supply chain with some production in Europe as well. So you need to invest in that topic. But especially, I think the biggest challenge that the European Union has in front is to clarify many rules. So we don't need more regulation. We don't need better regulation. We need intelligent regulation. I would say that we need to clarify a lot of rules. We need to bring more transparency for them, and also to try to help the industry and the companies to survive better in a whole world market where Europe is trying to lead on the environment, on transparency, and so on. But sometimes our companies, as a kind of a different obstacle when you are comparing with the others that are not so exigent. So we need to keep regulation. We need to be more clever and more intelligent. So I think the European market, common market, should be completed. I think it's a key issue as well. But we need to attract more investments. We need to have a most clear regulation and more efficient, more intelligent. We don't need much more regulation. We need much better regulation, much more intelligent than they are nowadays. Because sometimes we cannot have this discussion saying to people that okay, you want to be the leaders in environment things in this challenge, in this transformation, but we cannot create conditions to create more obstacles to our company. So we need to see this as an opportunity, not like an obstacle, and you need to search to develop an economy based on this new energies, with new opportunities, with new supply chain that exists, but especially seeing the other side of the cup, because this could be less expensive if we invest more now. In the future, I'm quite sure that the energy will be less expensive, and the competition, we will win the competition by spending less in some resources, because we made an investment on development, on innovation, quite before the others. That's I think could be one way to do these things. We don't need to balance more. We need to be more intelligent and believe that in the future, all these investments, all these projects will create more benefits to the European industry, because it's a leading industry in the world, I think.
My question was exactly into that direction. How to balance? You said we don't need to balance, we need to have more intelligence. But at the same time, in the previous mandate, for example, within the EPP itself, the big discussion, but also within the other groups, we cannot say that it was not the case within the Renew Europe, Socialists and Democrats, ECR, and the others. That discussion, how to have enough investment and a good environment, and at the same time to balance between EU industrial policy and the environment itself. You said environment is important. We heard also that environment is important for the younger generation and younger voters. But where is the balance between industrial policy and the environment? And is that going to be one of the challenges also for the next mandate of the European Commission?
I think that one will be the big challenge, because if the investors and the companies, the private sector, if they see the EU as an obstacle to their growth, or that we are creating obstacles with no reason, or they are paying a big tax because they are Europeans and they are not Asians and so on, our economy will not survive. And I think this balance should be, uh, of course, we need a balance, a moderation, and because we cannot do anything without our company. So if we are doing better than the others, we cannot be blind or extremists to kill the industries. We need to spend the investment from the EU in this transformation must be more clever. Not spending money in bullshit that where sometimes it happens. We need to help the industry to produce more with less impact in the environment. And sometimes we are being too extremists and we are not helping properly the European industry and the European economy. We are normally discussing about our independence on the energy issues, but nobody cares with the independence on data issues. And we have the biggest three suppliers in data and cloud, and no one of them is European, and we are depending on the others as well. So we need to do more in this issue as well, because I think if we have some sovereignty in this topic as well, it's data. We need to do more, and we have here a big opportunity to invest, I think.
When we talk about data, when we talk about cloud, we cannot miss talking about the United States. But at the same time, I would like also to touch upon, since you were in the Portuguese Parliament for a long period of time, and you know well the situation also in Latin America. In this current environment, and especially ahead of the new elections coming in the United States and all the changes that we are facing also recently in the Latin America, how do you see that Europe should position itself towards those countries which were basically always our partners?
Yeah, I think Europe should not interfere. Europe should respect these countries, their democracies. Some of them are not real democracies as well in Latin America, but we cannot interfere. And I think we should use our bilateral agreements to stimulate the strengthening of the institutions and to bring them to the democratic sides of the world. We need to use these kind of agreements to convince them, to woo them, to bring them to this side. Otherwise, we have no other opportunity to intervene. So our role here is a role of respect for the independence of these states, and using our soft power, our example as well. We can try to help them, to woo them to change a little bit, but otherwise we should not interfere. If you want respect for our sovereignty, we need to respect other sovereignty. But of course, the elections in the United States are almost elections in Europe, because we follow them with the big motivation. And we the only thing I wish is that a moderated president can win. And in a country like United States with so many brilliant people, it's quite concerning how those great minds, those great leaders, they don't come to win to become president of the United States.
And now we at the end, I have to ask you also, what do you expect when it comes to the results of elections on Sunday in the European Union, and who do you think is going to lead Europe next 5 years in the Commission and in the Parliament?
In the Commission, I think it will be quite clear, because we have a majority of countries supporting von der Leyen, and I think EPP is going to win these elections, and I think we're going to appoint the candidate, the Spitzenkandidat candidate. About the other key places, I think it will be a negotiation. I think in the past the socialists were not so well succeed according to the position, due to their weight in the European institutions, in the European countries. I think in this next after these next elections, I think the balance will be a little bit different. I think even I'm an EPP former member. I think the balance will be much more balanced than it was before, because I think EPP had too much power according to the other results. So it's quite probably that the Commission will remain with EPP, but who knows, the Council or even the Parliament can have a socialist as a leader. So let's see, let's see. It's quite important to have a balance and to leave outside these key positions, the radicals and the extremists.
Thank you very much, Duarte. This was very insightful, and thank you for your time, for being with us. We look forward to welcoming you very soon here live in our studio in Brussels. It's been very long that Brussels hasn't seen you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely day. Dear guests, this was Duarte Marques, former member of the National Assembly of Portugal. Stay tuned, there are many more interesting interviews to come.